Donald Trump is having a terrible day as the extent of his unpopularity is sinking in, as he has lost all control regarding any prospect of the United States doing a deal with Iran. Iran is doing a deal directly with Oman, which Israel is trying to scuttle right now by launching new attacks on Lebanon. And Donald Trump is trying to fix the helipad after already pouring concrete in front of the White House. If you can't do a helipad and a reflecting pool, you know it is a very bad situation for the United States in Donald Trump trying to handle all of these other things. Let's just get into it, folks. So Donald Trump throwing a tantrum this morning, posting on his social media accounts, Wayne County, Detroit, in Michigan is one of the most corrupt voting areas in the United States, if not the world. Okay, Donald Trump got a rude awakening during the primaries. First, you have Abdul El-Sayed winning in Michigan, and you have Haley Stevens and Mallory McMorrow rallying around him. Haley Stevens, a very gracious concession post. Mallory McMorrow was there for the endorsement right away. But take a look at what happened at Michigan's 8th congressional district in the Republican primary there. The candidate that Donald Trump endorsed, somebody by the name of Amir Hassan, got blown out by somebody who the various news agencies don't even have a photo of because the guy suspended his campaign weeks ago. Somebody by the name of Thomas Smith defeated the Trump-endorsed candidate Amir Hassan, and Smith suspended his campaign. Trump candidates are losing their campaigns to people who have suspended their campaigns weeks ago. That's how unpopular Donald Trump is. Let's zoom into North Carolina, where MAGA Republican Congress member Chuck Edwards, a big ally of Donald Trump, just dropped out of his re-election race. These MAGA Republicans are dropping like ducks in the reflecting poll. No offense, that's sad. At 3:32 a.m. this morning, he said he's done running but will finish out his term. This landed just after the House Ethics Committee found substantial reason to believe he violated House rules related to sexual harassment and hostile workplaces. While all of this is going on as well, you have Max Miller, or as Donald Trump calls him, Maxie. Remember, Trump said that this MAGA Republican Congress member, Max Miller, Trump says, I feel really bad for Maxie. Okay, Max Miller is accused of very serious allegations of abuse to his wife, abuse to his daughter, abuse to other women who he previously dated. And Donald Trump's like, I feel bad for Maxie. I feel bad for him. And then you have MAGA Mike Johnson and the whole MAGA Republican establishment today saying they stand strongly in solidarity with Maxie. That's what MAGA Mike Johnson said today. That's what GOP leaders, they said, Maxie is our guy. So now Max Miller feels emboldened. He's been going on the morning shows and he's like, I'm just like Trump. We get allegations against us and we just don't ever quit. We just keep on, regardless of the allegations. This is who we are in Trump's America. This is what Max Miller, who Trump refers to as Maxie, had to say. Play this clip.
When we go all the way back to 2015, 2016, and people in the media, and they looked at President Donald J. Trump, and everyone came out with allegations. Dozens of women, dozens of crazy allegations, dozens of nasty criminal misconduct. And do you want to know what he did, Rob? He stayed in the fight, because Americans see, and one of the qualities that they respect the most is somebody who is resilient. And can I tell you something? Innocent people don't run from these.
Then you had Todd Blanche, still the acting AG, but the MAGA Republicans certainly want this corrupt bootlicker to be the attorney general, the least qualified, most unethical person to ever even be near the Department of Justice building, yet alone become the attorney general. He was asked, so what message does it send? This happened this morning. If Trump fires a U.S. attorney because she determined there was not sufficient evidence to charge 4 people with a crime and that she dismissed a case against David Hearn, the 2-time Olympic canoeist, because it was fabricated evidence. So what message does it send if Trump fires the prosecutor who dismissed the case because the prosecutor found that there was fabricated evidence in the prosecution? Watch what this corrupt idiot has to say. Here, play this clip.
Declined to say whether you stand by Jeanine Pirro's decision to drop that case. What message does it send, though, if President Trump fires a U.S. attorney because she determined there was not sufficient evidence to charge 4 people with a crime.
Did he fire her?
What message would it send us if
Hypothetically, if the president chose to fire a United States attorney, it turns out he's allowed to do that because he's the president of the United States. So I don't. And by the way, if President Trump wanted to fire anybody, right, and within his administration, he understands he has the power to do that. So when he makes a decision about whether to fire a U.S. attorney or anybody else, that's his.
But then you have the MAGA Republican sycophants in the Senate. I mean, how awful are these human beings? I mean, not just as politicians, like as humans. These are like just horrible, putrid things. Like there's no other way to describe them. And they hate you. They hate America. They hate this country, these MAGA Republicans. That's very, very clear. And they think we're all stupid. They think we're all so dumb. They laugh. They laugh as they try to defraud us every day. So you have MAGA Republican Senator Cynthia Lummis, and she's like, I just want to let it. This is what she said this morning. Donald J. Trump is the most ethical president ever. He's the most ethical. He's done the most ethical guidelines. What do you mean the most ethical? The guy who did 21,000 stock trades and like created an insider trading function of his social media platform, the guy who's done quid pro quos with every Middle East nation in the world and enriched himself to the tune of billions and billions of dollars, the guy who sued the government while he was president for $10 billion in a frivolous case, and then extracted a settlement for himself where he gets tax immunity so he can't be criminally prosecuted for tax fraud and tax evasion. I mean, who are these losers? I mean, these MAGA Republicans are just the biggest scum, the biggest vermin, like as humans, right? I mean, who are these? Seriously, I don't want to even talk about this in political Democrat. Though these are just awful humans, period. Here, let's play this clip.
And the president agreed to an ethics provision that no president has ever agreed to. He's gone farther to protect ethics than any president in history. Yet the Democrats do want more. Their proposal is in front of the president now, and we'll see what he does.
No, it's a great point that you make. The president has actually tried to come to the middle and try to agree to some of these ethics. I mean,
going back to awful humans right here, you then have Max Miller, who I just shared with you before, essentially saying that he has blackmail material on his ex-father-in-law, Bernie Moreno, who's, the father of Maxie, as Trump calls him, ex-wife. And, there was a lot of rumors about Bernie Moreno going on certain chat boards and message boards. While he attacks the LGBTQ community, there's lots of people linking Bernie Moreno to certain types of websites and chats and things like that. I think those were the allegations and Max Miller is alluding that he has blackmail material on the MAGA Republican senator from Ohio. Like, you all realize, like, this doesn't have to be our way of politics. Like, we can have normal people, like, who actually fight for us. And, it's just wild that, like, these Max Millers, these Morenos, these Loomises, and all these people, they're like the radical left and the communist and the so. These people are the most radical, crazy human beings imaginable, these MAGAs. Here, play this clip.
Everything that's happening right now is sadly political, because no father of a daughter who would come to them with these ridiculous allegations would wait on their hands for 2 years and do nothing, only because he felt the political pressure because some of the nasty rumors that were circulating about him that he doesn't want to get out. And that has nothing to do with me. I have no intention of sharing what will eventually become public. But this was nothing more than a political move because he knows I've never hurt his daughter, I've never hurt our granddaughter, and if that was true, 3 different investigations would have removed my daughter from me throughout all of this.
This episode is brought to you by IQ Bar, our exclusive snack sponsor. IQ Bars are better for you, clean plant protein bars packed with fiber and brain-boosting nutrients with 0 added sugar. You no longer have to choose between healthy or delicious snacks. IQ Bar's plant protein bars are packed with high-quality ingredients to help keep you physically and mentally fit. You won't find any unrecognizable ingredients on their label. The number 1 ingredient in their bars is almonds. IQ Bars are great for any diet, whether by choice or due to allergies. IQ bars are free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial sweeteners. Try any of their 9 delicious flavors, including mint chocolate chip, chocolate sea salt, banana nut, toasted coconut chip, lemon blueberry, and peanut butter chip. With over 20,000 5-star reviews and counting, more people than ever are starting their days on the right foot with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. Obviously, these bars taste great, but the real benefit is how they make you feel. When I've got my IQ bars, I feel great and I'm ready to take on the day. Most protein bars hurt my stomach. It's so nice to have one that's actually clean and includes fiber. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus get free shipping. To get your 20% off, text TRUTH to 64,000. Text TRUTH to 64,000. That's TRUTH to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details.
And then Max Miller says that his ex-wife doesn't really care much about their daughter. It's sad to see, and she doesn't care much about my daughter. Here, play this clip.
I am an upstanding father who takes great care of our daughter, and that I have never hurt her or my ex-wife under any circumstances, and nothing, and I mean nothing, investigations, all of this stuff, no one pursued it because it's so ridiculous and it's not real. And it's sad to see that the only person that this affects is our daughter. And it's something that obviously I don't think that she cares about very much.
Did you?
Now, also, we're learning about an FAA investigation into an air safety incident involving Trump's Marine One. So the helipad right now, shoddy construction work, reflecting pool, shoddy construction work right there. I believe that East Wing teardown had no asbestos mitigation. I believe that there's massive asbestos contamination there, and we'll learn about mesothelioma cases in the future. But here's what we're learning. The FAA is investigating a safety incident after Donald Trump's Marine One helicopter and a departing Envoy air passenger jet came closer than the FAA rules allowed near Ronald Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C. The incident reportedly occurred because air traffic controllers failed to halt commercial departures when Marine One took off. The Guardian got the scoop there. Let's just pivot quickly to international news as well. I alluded to it at the beginning. Iran and Oman close to making a deal to create a route in the Strait of Hormuz controlled by the IRGC, which would be open to all vessels, but it would be under the IRGC control. Donald Trump is trying to take credit now for the Iran-Oman deal. Iran has made it very clear they have no interest in having negotiations with the United States. Iran will not be going to Pakistan or Qatar or anything. Iran's position is we're making a deal with Oman. IRGC will control the Strait of Hormuz. They've repeatedly said that this is their position. And here's what Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson just said. The negotiation between Iran and Oman are professional and progressing. The geographical coordinates of the proposed route in the Strait of Hormuz have been agreed on. And if certain third parties do not obstruct this process, the joint statement between the two countries, including key considerations and points of agreement, is in the final stages of reviewing and drafting. And by saying obstruction by certain third parties, they're referring to the United States and Israel. And if they don't try to interfere and intervene, we're ready to open this up and we're going to have our deal and we're going to announce it soon. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson also said the Iran-Oman understanding in itself cannot guarantee the safety of ships passing through the strait, as the factors that destabilize the Strait of Hormuz, particularly the U.S. naval blockade and other aggressive and threatening actions against Iran and its interests, still exist. And then what happens right away, right on cue? The Israeli Defense Force issues an urgent evacuation warning for residents of the Lebanese village of Mansouri, instructing civilians move at least 1,000 meters north into open areas. They plan on destroying the entire village right now. According to the IDF, the warning was issued in response to what it described as a Hezbollah ceasefire violation, stating that the Israeli forces are compelled to act forcefully against the threat, and they will be leveling the entire village of Mansouri right now. What's Trump doing while that's taking place? Well, Iran and Oman are negotiating. Trump can't do a deal with anybody. He's pathetic. He's a bankrupter. He's a destroyer. He's never done a deal in his life. He knows how to breach agreements and attack and divide. He's not a deal maker. You have Israel now attacking Mansouri right now. So who the hell knows what's going to happen with this potential deal between Iran and Oman. But Trump continues to post AI photos of himself with stolen valor. He posts these AI images of himself with General Patton and General MacArthur. And Trump puts himself in a military outfit like he's some 4-star general. By the way, would you be surprised if Donald Trump came out in a press conference dressed as a 4-star general? And all of the MAGA people would be like, "Oh, he looked very good. I like the new look. I like the new look." Right? We're pretty much one news cycle away from him coming out dressed like the way we grew up with dictators dressing like in the military outfits. But look, one of the very serious things, too, that I've been covering a lot here on this network and that deserves constant attention is the massive rug pull that Donald Trump did with Zelensky a few weeks back in mid-July during the NATO summit in Turkey. Donald Trump promised Zelensky Patriot interceptor licenses. Previously, Donald Trump promised to sell Patriot interceptors to Europe and that Europe would provide the interceptors to Zelensky. Zelensky and Ukraine are able to shoot down most of the Shahid drones that Russia gets from Iran that strike into Ukraine. They have about a 90% interception rate. They're able to intercept most of the cruise missiles, a very high interception rate. Ukraine is unable to stop the ballistic missiles. They're unable to stop them without the Patriot interceptors. That's why they are so crucial. And Trump promised he would get the interceptors or the interceptor licenses to Zelensky for a long time now. Then at the NATO summit said, "We'll get you the licenses." And now Donald Trump said, "We're not going to give you the interceptors. We're not going to give you the licenses." And remember at the end of last week in Camp David, Trump said, "We don't want you to potentially use it against us one day. So we have to be very careful who we give these licenses to." So what's Russia doing? Russia knows that Zelensky and Ukraine do not have the interceptors. So they are just shooting these ballistics and they are really hitting hard in Kyiv, in Zaporizhia, and Lviv and all of the major cities and areas in Ukraine. And so Zelensky posted out 44 people were injured, 17 killed. Russia used 24 ballistic missiles. And Zelensky explains ballistic missile interceptors could have saved the lives of those killed today. It is very important that our partners understand that delays in supplying them or unwillingness to provide anti-ballistic systems leads directly to such horrific casualties and destruction. Zelensky also asked Trump and Elon Musk, "Can we at least use the Starlink to shoot the ballistic missile launchers in order to get the coordinates? We could find the coordinates ourselves, but we need the satellite to guide our drones and to guide our missiles into Russia just for the purpose of striking the ballistic missile launchers in Russia." And Trump and Musk have denied that as well. But I'll tell you what they are doing. FBI Director Kash Patel has engaged in unprecedented security ties with Russia and China. He's visiting Russia soon. The FBI established it, where we used to do cooperation with, Canada, UK, NATO, right? No, now the major cooperation is with Russia and China, while they continue to look at people like Kash Patel in the United States as weak. They continue to learn from us, while you have Trump and Patel being basically China and Russia bootlickers because they love their authoritarians. That's what we got right now. Keep you posted every step of the way. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Pre-order WTF America, the book I wrote with my brothers. It comes out in October. And the publisher says that the pre-orders are really important. So if you can do the pre-orders right now, let's keep the momentum going. Hit the QR code, or I'll put a link in the description below. Thanks, everybody.
Before you go, our book, WTF America, is available for pre-order now. It's the story of how we got here and how we fight our way back. To pre-order, scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Let's do this.